Many women over 50 don't realize this. The way your body and brain experience intimacy after menopause can quietly shape the emotional rhythm of your entire life. It's not just about closeness with a partner. It's about the hormones, the calm, and the confidence that come alive again when connection returns. Because intimacy isn't fading, it's simply waiting to be reawakened. Hello, I'm Dr. Eliza Hart, a board-certified obstetrician and gynecologist with over 15 years of experience in women's health and hormonal wellness. I've worked with thousands of women who tell me the same thing, that after menopause, something feels different. They still care about their partners, but the connection isn't the same. What most women don't know is that this change isn't a loss of love. It's a biological response to shifting hormones. When estrogen and oxytocin drop, the brain reacts differently to touch, communication, and intimacy. The good news is that this can be improved. When we understand what's happening inside our bodies, we can restore closeness, confidence, and emotional health again. Before we continue, please subscribe and help me reach my first 10,000 subscribers. It truly motivates me to keep creating these educational videos for women around the world. And if you're listening right now, comment the name of your country below so we can see how far this message is reaching. Now let's look at what really happens inside the body when intimacy starts to fade after 50. 1. The silent decline of connection. When women reach their 50s, many begin to notice something subtle but real. The sense of closeness they once felt starts to fade. It doesn't happen overnight. It begins quietly, often unnoticed, through busier routines, less conversation, and fewer moments of physical affection. Many of my patients describe it as a slow distance that grows between them and their partners, even though they still love each other deeply. This is not a lack of effort or affection. It is the body and brain adjusting to a new hormonal landscape. As estrogen and oxytocin decline, the brain's sensitivity to emotional connection also changes. These hormones don't just influence mood or physical comfort, they directly affect how the brain perceives touch, bonding, and safety. When these chemical messengers fall, even small misunderstandings can feel heavier, and expressions of affection may feel less natural. The nervous system begins to shift from connection toward protection. This is why many women say they feel numb or disconnected even when nothing is wrong in their relationship. In medical terms, this stage is a response to hormonal recalibration, not emotional failure. The brain is simply seeking a new balance. Studies show that oxytocin, the so-called bonding hormone, drops sharply after menopause, reducing the calming effect that physical touch once created. Without that steady hormonal signal, the body interprets stress differently, and the emotional threshold for closeness becomes higher. It's not that women stop caring, it's that their biology asks for a different kind of nurturing to feel connected again. I often tell my patients that this change is similar to adjusting your vision after years of focusing on something close. Once the lens shifts, everything looks different, but it doesn't mean your eyes are broken. The same is true for intimacy after menopause. It simply requires new awareness. When women understand these biological shifts, they stop blaming themselves or their partners and start approaching connection as something to be supported, not forced. The first step is to acknowledge that what you are feeling has a real physiological cause. You're not cold, uninterested, or too old. You are adapting, and your body is asking for care in a new way. Once you understand that compassion replaces frustration, and from that point, something remarkable begins the process of learning what intimacy truly means at this stage of life, beyond the surface of habit or routine. And as this awareness grows, many women discover that connection can return even stronger than before, grounded in understanding, patience, and a sense of partnership that feels calmer, wiser, and far more genuine. 2. What intimacy truly means after 50. For many women, the word intimacy has long been tied to physical activity or romantic expectation, but after menopause, it begins to take on a very different meaning. I often remind my patients that intimacy is not an act, It is a form of communication between two nervous systems that once relied on youthful hormones but now depend on awareness, patience, and emotional safety. When the body changes, the way we connect must evolve too. At this stage, many women assume that reduced desire means something is broken inside them. In truth, the hormonal landscape simply requires a slower, more intentional rhythm. The brain now relies on consistent affection and verbal reassurance to produce the same neurochemical comfort that once came naturally through touch. What used to be spontaneous now needs attention, but that doesn't make it less real. It often makes it more meaningful. Medically, when gentle affection or emotional closeness occurs, oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine levels rise together. These hormones form what I call the calm chemistry of connection. They lower cortisol, reduce inflammation, and even improve sleep. In several studies, women who regularly engaged in affectionate communication, such as holding hands, slow conversation, or shared laughter, showed improved mood stability and lower blood pressure compared to those who didn't. These findings remind us that intimacy after 50 is not about maintaining performance, it's about maintaining chemistry. I once had a patient who said, "Doctor, I thought we were fine, but we stopped talking." When she and her husband began setting aside 10 minutes each evening just to talk without phones or television, she returned months later saying her body felt lighter, her mood steadier. That small daily practice reactivated the same hormonal pathways once stimulated by physical affection. The science was clear, communication itself had become her new form of intimacy. So when women tell me they feel disconnected, I encourage them to redefine what closeness means in this phase of life. It's not measured by frequency or intensity, but by the willingness to be emotionally present. When intimacy becomes about safety, attention, and mutual care, the body follows. Desire, energy, and comfort begin to return naturally because the brain once again feels connected, supported, and seen. And often, as this awareness deepens, women rediscover that the most powerful form of pleasure isn't physical. It's the quiet sense of being emotionally understood and accepted exactly as they are. 3. The hormonal chemistry of touch. Most women are surprised when I tell them that the science of intimacy is really the science of chemistry. The changes they feel after menopause aren't just emotional, they are biological signals from a body that is recalibrating how it produces and responds to key hormones. Touch, affection, and emotional closeness all play a role in this process, acting almost like daily messages that remind the brain it is safe to release the hormones that regulate calm energy and desire. When you experience affectionate touch, even something as simple as holding a hand or resting a palm on someone's shoulder, your body releases oxytocin. This hormone tells your nervous system that you are safe, protected, and connected. It lowers cortisol, reduces blood pressure, and stabilizes your heartbeat. Dopamine follows enhancing motivation and emotional clarity, while endorphins help ease physical tension. Together, these create what many researchers now describe as a biochemical language of connection. This means that intimacy is not just about what happens between two people, it's a conversation happening inside your body. When touch is missing for long periods, the body begins to misread that silence as isolation or stress. Over time, cortisol remains elevated, energy levels drop, and both partners begin to interpret emotional distance as rejection rather than physiology. I've seen this pattern again and again in women who assume they've lost passion, when in fact their biochemistry simply needs stimulation through regular, non-sexual touch, like gentle massage, hugging, or even mindful self-care routines. In medical studies, women who practiced regular, intentional physical affection without any focus on performance showed significant improvements in mood regulation and immune function within just weeks. Their sleep improved, and so did their self-esteem. It is one of the simplest, safest, and most effective forms of hormone therapy we have yet. It's often overlooked because it feels too ordinary. If you're listening right now, I'd love to hear your experience. Type yes in the comments if you've noticed how even small acts of touch change your mood or calm your mind. And if you haven't tried it yet, let this be your reminder to reconnect through the simplest gestures of care. Because in medicine and in love, small, consistent actions often create the biggest changes over time. When women begin to approach touch as nourishment rather than performance, something shifts deeply inside them. The body starts to respond, the heart rate steadies, and the nervous system relaxes. That is where real healing begins, and it prepares you for the next step, which is learning how to reintroduce intimacy in a way that truly fits the body and the stage of life you're in now. 4. Relearning intimacy after menopause. After menopause, many women tell me that intimacy feels unfamiliar, as if their bodies have changed the rules without warning. What they once understood instinctively now requires intention. This is not a failure, it's adaptation. The hormonal foundation that once fueled spontaneity has shifted, and with that shift comes an opportunity to learn a more conscious, meaningful way to connect. In this stage, the body doesn't respond to quick stimulation or expectation. It responds to consistency, trust, and emotional warmth. When estrogen and progesterone fall, the brain begins to rely more heavily on oxytocin to generate feelings of closeness. That means genuine affection, time spent together, kind words, or even laughter becomes the new catalyst for desire. Physical connection grows naturally out of emotional safety, not the other way around. I often explain to my patients that this process is similar to physical therapy. After an injury, gentle, gradual, and guided by awareness. You start by rebuilding sensitivity through attention and patience. When a woman allows herself to slow down and focus on presence rather than performance, her body begins to remember how to feel again. The nervous system relaxes, blood flow improves, and the mind opens to pleasure in new, quieter ways. Simple practices can make a real difference. Begin by setting aside time without distractions. No phones, no television, just conversation, eye contact, or shared silence. Practice mindful touch. Resting your hand on your own skin, noticing its temperature and texture without judgment or goal. Small moments like these retrain the brain to associate touch with safety and comfort. Within weeks, most women notice that their bodies start responding again, even before any physical intimacy takes place. Many couples find that rediscovering closeness in this stage strengthens their relationship in ways they never expected. They communicate more honestly, show affection more freely, and experience a calm, grounded kind of intimacy that feels deeply restorative. Men often respond to this change with warmth and relief, realizing that their partner's need for slower connection invites them into a gentler, more mutual experience. This phase is not about reclaiming youth. It's about updating the relationship between your body and your emotions. When a woman learns to engage with her body through patience and self-respect, her hormones follow her lead. Desire returns not as urgency, but as comfort, curiosity, and confidence. And from that foundation, the next lesson emerges how the smallest acts of love, even those shared in silence, can completely redefine connection. 5. The lesson from a 78-year-old woman. Several years ago, I met a woman named Eleanor who changed the way I talk about intimacy with every patient that walks into my office. She was 78, calm, articulate, and radiated a quiet strength. When I asked what brought her in that day, she smiled and said, "Nothing's wrong, doctor. I just wanted to tell you something that matters." That conversation became one of the most memorable lessons of my career. Eleanor told me that after her husband suffered a stroke, their physical life together had changed completely. What used to be routine became impossible. But instead of withdrawing, she began to approach connection differently. Every morning, she would hold his hand, smooth his hair, and whisper simple words of affection. She said, "I realized love isn't about what you do, it's about how you show up." Those gestures became their new form of intimacy, and she described them as more peaceful and fulfilling than anything they had known before. From a medical perspective, what she was doing was remarkable. Each small touch stimulated oxytocin and dopamine, the same hormones that support emotional bonding and physical healing. Her husband's blood pressure improved, his anxiety lessened, and she felt calmer and more balanced herself. That exchange of gentle care didn't just comfort him, it literally changed both of their biochemistry. What Eleanor understood intuitively was that the body continues to respond to connection at every age. The hormonal system doesn't retire, it simply requires different conditions to thrive. When love is expressed through kindness and attention rather than urgency or habit, the brain registers that safety and releases the very chemicals that make intimacy possible again. I often share Eleanor's story because it captures the core truth of mature intimacy. Giving does not diminish your power, it expands it. A woman who chooses to love with patience and generosity activates her own healing chemistry. She becomes grounded, resilient, and emotionally steady, not because of what she receives, but because of what she allows herself to express. Eleanor's experience reminds us that affection doesn't have to disappear with age. It only needs to be redefined. And when that happens, something beautiful unfolds. Love begins to nurture the body just as much as it nurtures the heart. This understanding leads to an even deeper realization that intimacy practiced wisely can actually slow aging and strengthen the body's natural systems from within. 6. How intimacy keeps you biologically younger. Many women are surprised when I tell them that intimacy is one of the most powerful forms of natural anti-aging therapy available to us. This isn't poetic language. It's what medical research has consistently shown. Genuine emotional and physical connection activates biological systems that keep the heart, brain, and immune system resilient. After menopause, when estrogen levels drop, these effects become even more important because the body depends more on emotional regulation and healthy bonding to maintain balance. Every affectionate interaction, whether it's a hug, a shared laugh, or a few quiet minutes of touch, sets off a chain of biological events. The brain releases oxytocin, which lowers blood pressure and improves circulation. Dopamine supports motivation and mental clarity, while endorphins reduce inflammation and ease physical tension. This biochemical response strengthens cardiovascular health, stabilizes mood, and improves sleep quality. In studies involving women over 50, those who maintained consistent affectionate contact, both physical and emotional, had lower markers of chronic inflammation, better bone density, and stronger immune response compared to those who lived with prolonged isolation. Even gentle, non-sexual touch was linked to improved cognitive function and reduced anxiety. These findings show that intimacy in its simplest form helps keep the body and mind more stable. I once worked with a couple in their late 60s who hadn't been intimate for almost a decade. When they began incorporating small moments of closeness, brief massages, evening walks, holding hands, words of appreciation, their energy levels changed. The wife's sleep improved, her headaches subsided, and her resting heart rate dropped. She told me, "I feel alive again, not because of passion, but because I finally feel connected." Her body was responding exactly as the science predicts, through touch. Her brain signaled safety, and her nervous system regained balance. Intimacy is not a luxury at this stage of life. It's a biological necessity. It stabilizes mood, regulates hormones, and supports cardiovascular function, much like gentle exercise does. The act of staying emotionally and physically connected tells your body that life is still in motion, that you are still participating fully. And from that awareness, vitality returns in a way no supplement or medication can replicate. Understanding this is where true empowerment begins. When love is practiced consistently and kindly, it becomes one of the most reliable ways to support longevity, clarity, and joy. And that brings us to the next part, how small intentional rituals can help every woman start applying these insights in her daily life. By the time most women reach their 50s, their bodies have already adapted to countless transitions. Childbirth, hormonal changes, stress, and loss. Yet few realize that the smallest daily habits can directly influence how balanced their hormones remain. Reconnection doesn't always begin in the bedroom. It often starts with quiet, consistent moments that tell your brain and body you are safe and you belong here. A simple morning ritual can begin this process. Place your hand over your chest and take 5 slow breaths. This motion activates the vagus nerve, which helps regulate the heart rate and calm the nervous system. It also increases oxytocin production, the hormone that supports bonding and emotional stability. Many women notice that within minutes, their breathing deepens, their thoughts slow, and they feel more centered before the day begins. Another small but powerful practice is gratitude. Writing down 3 things you appreciate about your body, no matter how minor, shifts the brain away from self-criticism and into appreciation. Neuroscience shows that gratitude lowers cortisol and activates dopamine, improving both mood and motivation. When you combine gratitude with gentle self-touch, even something as simple as applying lotion with intention, your body interprets it as care, not routine. This reinforces a healthier hormonal rhythm that supports both physical and emotional comfort. In the evening, try incorporating physical connection with your partner or loved one without any expectation of intimacy. A short hug, shared laughter, or even holding hands while watching television is enough to stimulate oxytocin and serotonin. These moments create what I call micro-restoration, tiny hormonal resets that over time lower blood pressure, ease tension, and rebuild emotional safety. If you live alone, these benefits are still within reach. Activities like gentle yoga stretching, self-massage, or spending time with pets trigger the same neurochemical responses. The body doesn't distinguish between affection from others and mindful care from yourself. It simply responds to warmth and consistency. Before starting any new practice, remember that every body reacts differently. Some women notice changes within days, while others need more time for their systems to adjust. The key is patience and repetition, not perfection. These small rituals help the body remember what balance feels like, paving the way for deeper connection, steadier energy, and a renewed sense of emotional vitality. And with that foundation rebuilt, we can now close with the most important message of all: how reclaiming intimacy at this age is not about restoring youth, but about restoring peace. At this stage of life, intimacy is no longer about keeping up with youth or expectations. It's about understanding what your body truly needs to feel balanced, safe, and alive. As hormones shift, your body isn't giving up. It's simply asking for a different kind of attention. When you respond with patience, compassion, and awareness, the benefits go far beyond relationships. You sleep better, your mood stabilizes, and your energy feels more consistent. The message I want every woman to remember is this: you are not losing vitality. You are entering a wiser phase of it, connection. Whether through affection, communication, or self-care, is one of the most effective ways to support both emotional and hormonal health after 50. Start small, stay consistent, and notice how your body rewards you with calm, clarity, and warmth. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If this message spoke to you, please subscribe, share this video with another woman who might need it, and help me reach my first 10,000 subscribers. It truly means a lot. And before you go, comment below the name of your country, or simply say, "I'm here," so we can see how this community of women is growing across the world. Your presence makes this work possible.